Hello, and thank you for tuning in. Today, I'd like to talk to you about being an executor or an estate trustee, as they're sometimes called. If you have been named as the executor or estate trustee in someone's last will and testament, you should be familiar with your obligations, responsibilities, and potential liabilities. Most people aren't aware that an executor can be held personally liable for any losses sustained by the estate during their administration. Executors are entitled to compensation, and this can be important, particularly in a large and complex estate. And some estates can take many years to wind their way through the probate process, especially if there are young children entitled to support and so on. So you should be aware of your obligations. Again, if any losses are sustained by the estate through your negligence or any omissions, things that you forgot to do or maybe neglected to do, you can be held personally liable for those losses. Now, one of the other things that executors should keep in mind, and we mentioned the topic of compensation earlier, the administration or probate of an estate can take quite some time and quite a bit of effort. So estate trustees are entitled to be paid for the work that they do. Now, I have one case right now, it's in litigation, quite a large estate, where the executors decided that they were going to pay themselves X number of dollars on a monthly basis. And they did that very shortly after the testator, that's the person who made the will, the testator made that will. And they did so without approval from the court, and they did so without having first obtained the consent of all of the beneficiaries. Now, in that particular estate, there were only two beneficiaries, so it wouldn't have been a really onerous task to get their consent. But they went ahead and started paying themselves without the consent of the beneficiaries or the approval of the court. And that's one of the things that we're asking the court to do when deciding how that particular question should be dealt with. I act for the beneficiaries, and the claim is for a reinstatement or indemnification of all of the compensation that they've taken. And this is over a 5-year period, so we're talking about a significant amount of money, and we're talking about losses sustained by the estate due to their negligence. So this is going to be a very big claim and potentially financially devastating for both of the estate trustees. Now, of course, one of the things that I've noted over many, many decades of practice when it comes to estate litigation is that very often, more often than people would like to think, executors simply can't resist the temptation to dip their fingers into the cookie jar. And people being what they are, sometimes people think they can get away with such things, but when they do that, that's a fraud upon the estate, and it's a very easy case to litigate. It's like shooting fish in a barrel from a lawyer's point of view. Records have to be kept when you're an executor, and bank accounts, copies of bank accounts can be obtained in the litigation process. And if monies go missing, then naturally the claimants are going to look to the executors for repayment. And in cases where executors have defrauded an estate, that fraud is a criminal offense as well. So the temptation to dip one's fingers into the cookie jar, so to speak, should be avoided. Fraud means potentially a criminal record, in addition to having to repay the estate for any monies that may have been misappropriated. Anyway, I like keeping my videos short and sweet, so that's all for today. If you have been named as an executor or estate trustee in someone's will, it's important that you understand your obligations and potential liabilities. Give my office a call today. The number's indicated below in the description, or visit my website. The link is also indicated below in the description. Thanks and have a great day.